Hi, welcome back. This week is Parsha Yitro. In this week's Parsha, the Jewish people receive the Torah. That's about 3 million people hear the word of God, the greatest revelation in the history of the world. And yet the Parsha is named after a non-Jew, Yitro. Now, Yitro was Moshe's father-in-law, but this is not about nepotism. Yitro was also Kohen Midyan. He was a high priest. So the question becomes even more strange. Why is this Parsha about the great manifestation of God, revelation of God for the Jewish people, named after a non-Jew? So we look at the first verse in the Parsha and it gives us a little insight. When Yitro hears about the miraculous exodus of the Jews from Egypt, and they're walking through the splitting of the sea, he garners up the strength to leave his home, to get Zipporah, Moshe's wife, and the 2 children, Gershom and Eliezer, and leave the comforts of Midyan, the status of Midyan, and to go out into the desolate wilderness to connect with Moshe, with God, and his people. Rabbeinu Bachai makes this point very clear. The point that Yitro was willing to sacrifice so much, to throw away all his years of what he thought was true, and all give it to the God of Israel. The chapter and paragraph before Yitro was about Amalek, Israel's arch enemy. What did they do when they heard about the miraculous exodus from Egypt and the splitting of the sea? They went and attacked God and his people, diminishing God's manifestation in the world. Yitro does the opposite. He leaves it all behind to revel in God and his miracles. And so, according to many, he converts and eventually goes back to Midyan and converts all those who want to listen to him. But maybe that's the message of why the Parsha is named after Yitro. He was willing to sacrifice so much to have a relationship with Torah and the God of Israel. And I think to myself, what have I been willing to sacrifice to have that genuine and authentic relationship with God and his Torah? And what will I be willing to sacrifice going forward? Now, I know I'm not going to have a Parsha named after me, but wouldn't it be nice if we all could have a Parsha named after us? Thank you for listening. If you think this would be helpful to someone, please pass it on. As always, thanks for listening. Shabbat Shalom.